Hey, what's up guys? It's your girl, Coach Leanne, down here at AM Fitness in Plainville. Today I am talking to you a little bit more about ankle mobility. And specifically today we're mostly just talking about an ankle mobility test to find out if it's something that we really need to work on. So typically when we talk about ankle mobility and when we need to increase our ankle mobility, what we're talking about is the ability to squat to full depth, try to come to at least parallel to the ground to allow our knees to come forward without our heels coming off the ground to try to compensate. So some of us may find that we have a really hard time getting our shins to go past vertical to allow our knees to come forward. So if we have really tight ankles that we just don't have that mobility to let the knee come forward, and we squat here and we wind up letting our chest fall forward, ankle mobility might be something that we need to work on. But the best way to test it to make sure that that really is what we need to work on, as opposed to say hip mobility or work on stabilization in our core or something like that a little bit more, we can just come over to the wall and see what our ankle mobility actually looks like. So I can start myself as close to the wall as I need to. If I'm not really sure, I can put my toe right against the wall. Now I use my hands to kind of stabilize. I have my other foot back behind me so that again I have that nice stable base of support. So from here, push my knee toward the wall. If I can tap the wall, okay, great, I know I have that range of motion. Then I can step back a little bit more. We can kind of go inch by inch and keep sitting in until we find that point where if the knee doesn't touch the wall immediately, then that means maybe I've come a little bit too far. But really the idea is to be able to look at how far forward can I get my knee. So I'm nice and stable against the wall. I'm not worried about falling forward. I'm not worried about putting a ton of pressure on my knee, because all I'm doing is relaxing. I'm just letting myself come forward. So in terms of retest down the line, what I might want to do is just keep testing so that I figure out, okay, right now I know that I'm exactly, say, 3 inches away from the wall. So then when I come back a month, 2 months later, after I've been spending a lot of time working on my ankle mobility, I can draw a line and say, okay, this is where I was before, and now I retest and I say, okay, look at that, I've gained an inch. In terms of just figuring out if we need to work on ankle mobility, we don't have to worry about that quite as much. Really, we just want to be able to look at how far we can get that knee to come forward. So if I can get that knee well past my toe, if we're looking at what my ankle mobility looks like right now, it's not horrible, it's not something that I really need to work on. But for those of us who, whether we're against the wall or we're here, we're just finding we can't really get that knee to come forward very far, okay, ankle mobility is probably something that I need to work on. Now, one exercise that we might prescribe for you is what we call a knee break ankle mobility. So we just get ourselves a set of 5-pound plates, and I put my toes on here, kind of just below the ball of the feet. So even here, I've already increased my ankle mobility somewhat because I've decreased the amount of space between the ankle and the shin, really. So I've changed the angle from being flat at 90 degrees to coming up, and now it's a shorter angle. Now from here, if I let my knees come forward a little bit, I can push forward and come back up. Now what I don't want to do is just sit my whole body forward, because then from there, my heels are probably going to come off the ground and I'm going to wind up putting a lot of pressure on my knees. So I push the knees forward, let the hips stay kind of underneath me to behind me, and I come back up. I keep it dynamic, so it's not just a static hold. I want to push and come back up. Hold for a good 2 to 3 second count, push a little further, and come back, and ideally we find that down the road we can go a little bit further and further into our stretch. So this ankle mobility test is great for us to figure out if ankle mobility is something that we actually need to work on. So go ahead and give that a try, see what your ankle mobility looks like, and then from there we'll see how our squats progress as we continue to work on it. So if you have any questions, you can ask any one of your coaches. Otherwise, we will see you guys very soon.